Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm just watching non-farm right now, looking at some levels that I think are going to get tagged off, and doing a little bit of market study. Nothing too serious today. I'm not taking any trades or anything, just mainly looking at some levels and calling out some points of interest, and that's about it. So we've obviously had a bit of whipsaw, as you can see. I'll run down to the 15-minute. You can see down here, this is just the US index. You can see how it gapped. I mean, price was up here and it literally just fell off, ran back up and then fell off again. So it's quite interesting. They are definitely whipsawing the market. There was liquidity that rested down below here, they got that. Liquidity above here, they got that. And now they're kind of sitting right in the middle of the range right now, so a little bit interesting. I'm just going to get another live signal set up here, guys. Just give me 1 second. So yeah, a little bit of whipsaw in the market today. As non-farm payroll usually does. Likes to run the market around a bit, make everything interesting. So there we go. Sorry guys, just had to get some stuff set up. There we go. Alright. So remember, we don't trade non-farm because obviously, because of this stuff going on. They usually like to take price on either side of the market, knock out all of the stops, and then continue in whichever direction they want. So I've got some areas on. This is just the US dollar. I'm going to just analyze this real quick for 30 seconds. There's some areas in here. You see kind of the top of this line here that I think that they're interested in coming into. And they're slowly into it here now. And then there's also another small area below market price where if they want to run the price down to, I think that would be an obvious target. And that area is right about here. Just put this together here, right about there. So really there's two big areas right now that I think they want to take. And seeing how we've had this nice bullish run up, I think the ultimate goal is going to be up here. But don't be surprised if they come all the way back down here first. Grab up all the liquidity down here and then resume higher. But I think the overall goal, and the reason why, is because the US dollar is making a nice steady push higher. And you can see what I had said down here in a previous video. I think price is going to come down here. It's going to touch off at this level right here. And this is kind of the breaking level. If price breaks down here, then we're going to look for here. If it breaks here, then obviously it's going to fall down below here. And we got a nice bounce right off of this 89.30 level here. And price has been a ripping. So that's why I say I think they're going to finish on a bullish note on the day, and I think we're going to finish higher. And there is a nice area right in here that I think is going to be suspect on the level 1, and then eventually higher. And I think up into this consolidation area. See this blue line right here? I've had this on my chart forever. I think that's where it's going to go next. So if we are looking at the US dollar being bullish, then obviously the Euro USD, let's go to a daily here, the Euro USD, and obviously the pound dollar should be bearish as well. Okay, So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Sorry, make an adjustment on the screen here for you guys. There you go. So I think ultimately, now I'm just going to talk about the pound dollar here first. I think ultimately, if we see that bullishness continue in the U.S. dollar index, I do believe that the pound dollar, I think we see this green highlighted area here. I think we're going to tag down into that fairly easily, and you can see the nice breakdown that we've had on the pound dollar. It's just been ripping down. And I think we're going to see the next leg down into here. It could take a little while to get there. You know, we're a couple hundred pips away from that level, like I was mentioning in the last live video. But I do believe that this is a potential goal. And I'm just going to drill down a little bit. You can see this actually hasn't been whipsawed as much, but there is a level up here. There's a couple of levels which they just tagged into here that kind of got me interested right there. And don't be surprised as well too if they also come up and tag this low off over here. Kind of came up and now they're dropping it here, but don't be surprised if they come back up for that one more time and then ultimately drop the market again. Now, just on the day, a couple of levels that I'd be looking at here. This would be quite a ways down. I don't know that they get all the way down there. You know, as that would be a big day, you know, 105 pips from here. It's definitely doable, but I don't think they're going to rip it down that much. We'll have to see, obviously, but they may get down there, but you know, we'll have to see. The Euro USD, again, they did the same type of thing. Now, I actually thought on the euro, I'll just put these day dividers on, I actually thought they'd run it a little bit higher. I kind of wanted to see them get up into this area in here and potentially up to here. Now, this was a long ways away, obviously, but I do think that this low down here is going to get tagged. It's probably going to get tagged here very, very quickly. And then actually this red line right here would be the target that I'd be looking for. To get nailed here today. So and that's a ways away, you know. It's just not a ways, it's about 50 pips away, so that'd be a nice range for the Euro USD, you know, about 100 pips on the day. But keep in mind, they may want to still come back up for some of these levels, so they could just be dropping it down, seeking liquidity below here, and then running it back higher. And like I say, this level right up in here, just right above the current level. You know, they seem to be dropping it fairly decently right now, so I don't think that's going to be the case, but you know, you watch for that, certainly. Yeah, and it looks like they're moving the euro and not the pound dollar a little bit more, so that's quite interesting as well too. I'll be watching that. You can see here now they're running the pound dollar back up. See if the euro's seeing something similar. A little bit of a retrace. They may just be coming back up to here, and then they're going to dump it again, which means we'll be seeing a little bit of a retracement of the dollar. You can see there. You see they just came down to grab this area down here, and then they slammed it back the other way. So again, this is why you don't want to be trading non-farm. For these reasons exactly, right? You look at this, you're thinking, okay, well, this is going to go long. Okay, great. So let's get long, I don't know, up here, and then they you know, they wick it and they whipsaw, and then they run it back down the other way. You know, just keep in mind this right here. It's not too bad, I guess. It's about a 40 pip whipsaw, but you don't want to be caught in that, especially on the euro. The euro saw it a little bit more today. They were manipulating this one a little bit more. You know, 40 pips in the opposite direction, and then they dropped it down. And who knows if that is their intended goal, if they do want to come down here. I think they do. They hit a logical level up here, and then now they're much lower. So I think if this low right here, it gets broken, then I'd be looking for lows down here to get violated for sure on the day. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you guys want to see. This is the U.S. yen. Whoops, here we are in the daily. Really nice big push up on the daily as well too. I was kind of looking at price stopping at these levels here, but they clearly went higher. And again, you know, just could be the whipsaw from non-farm doing it. This is a 30 pip change. I wouldn't mind actually seeing them coming down and soaking up some of this liquidity here, but they may just be temporarily running it up. I do believe the yen ultimately will get lower, just because of the strength of the yen right now. But they definitely hit a significant level here. This 105.50 level here definitely was very significant, and I think they could be running it higher just because of that. And I would suggest even up to this 108.12 level. Well, that's on the daily. Let's refine that a little bit. 108.4, 108.5 level probably would get tagged. So we've got to watch for that as well. US CAD. There's a nice little bit of whipsaw in the US CAD. Look at that. I had these levels marked out. I wanted to see them run down into it. You see this green highlighted area here, and they actually came down even lower than that. So don't be surprised at this next level right here. I'll get rid of this guy here because we don't need it. These guys here, we don't need that much anymore because those are already taken. But this level right here at 127.80, that would be a nice level. And it would clean up a bunch of liquidity under here, and then they're really chopping this thing sideways for the past few days too. But the U.S. CAD has just seen an absolutely gorgeous run higher. From this low here to these highs, that was a 560 pip run in a 2-week period. So had a great run higher. So I wouldn't be surprised, not surprised to see a little bit of cooling off. You know, these guys taking their profits a little bit and coming back down the market. But this level right here definitely interests me on the CAD. I don't know that they're going to sink it down that low, though. I think they kind of already had the chance to do it, and they didn't get it all the way down there. They just kind of wicked down, and now they're rejecting. And you see the strength of the dollar. Well, see, now look at this. The dollar's now coming back, retracing very, very deeply off of that move. So again, you know, this is why non-farm is so unpredictable. You just have no idea what you're going to get. You know, if you were long in here, they came down, potentially stopped you out, and then everyone's thinking, okay, well, let's get long again. They run it up, and now they're running it back. Or vice versa, if you're short, you know, they start running it down and thinking, okay, great, you know, we're going with the trend here. This thing's going to run lower, and then they jack it up higher, stop you out, and then just to run down lower anyway. All right, so you just never know what they're going to do with these things, with these non-farm events. You know, they could just, you know, basically just do whatever the hell they want to do on these things. So, yeah, it's quite interesting, guys. Non-farm is definitely a time of market activity where you do not want to be trading. It just isn't conducive to a profitable trader, and you just don't want to be doing it. Non-farm is basically stands for not for professionals, NFP numbers, not for professionals. Just garbage. So sorry guys, machine shaking a little bit. Typing back here. Yeah, so if there's anything else that you guys want to see me run through quickly as well too, just post it up on the screen there, and I'll do my best to cover it, because I've got, I'm not going to be on for too long, about another 20 minutes. I'm just waiting for our other analyst, Dave, to jump on, and he's going to be trading the S&P gold and the yen market. And again, he showed you the yen, what that was doing today, so I would expect the yen to look, came through that level here. It's sitting at this level right now, which is a very significant level. And I would suggest if it runs through that, then, it's interesting. And it's actually performing quite nicely and hitting very, very obvious levels. Whoops, I didn't do that. They've always, I don't know why they put this stupid tile window right beside the zoom in, zoom out buttons. I wish I could move this thing over, but can't. It drives me crazy. Anyway, yeah, the yen you can see here hitting some obvious levels. Next level would be this high up in here. That's, again, here's Aussie dollar. Just some crazy whipsaw right here. This is a big move on Aussie. 30 pips higher, and then they jam it back down, and now looks like they're starting to run it higher. So it's interesting. Bitcoin, not a whole lot of fluctuation on Bitcoin, as you can see. This had a very nice run down here the past week. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't get part of it. I was actually looking for Bitcoin to come up here and poke up into here, but it just did a failure swing and just rolled over completely. And then I had this level marked out here on the chart for, ever, and I said I'd like to see Bitcoin come down to this 89.20 level that I have marked out here. And I thought they were actually going to do it on this run down here. They fell short, ran it higher, again, failure swing, and then they finally took it. So I think from here, to be honest with you, I'm still thinking they're going to come up here and hit these levels up in here. I don't think that we're going to see price, well, I mean, you never know. They just scooped up the lows. Actually, they just almost hit the exact low right there, what that had come in at. 83.23, and then this low here was 83.19, so they just failed by a couple of bucks to take out this low here. So find that quite interesting, and then now they're running it higher. Now we could be stalling. It is hitting a very logical reversal point right in here, but don't be surprised if it comes up and tags into this consolidation area here and runs a little bit higher into here. See, they've been dropping and haven't come back for liquidity. They poked it up. They had that failure right here, that failure swing right up here. They dropped it down and didn't come back above any of the previous consolidation ranges to take any of the liquidity. That's highly suspect. I believe that, so you see they've let me see if I can get this here. Actually, I got a better idea. Let's do this. So what I'm saying here is they usually will come up and tag off of, or scoop the liquidity up before they resume a continued trend. So what I mean by that is like this, for instance, right here. You see this drop down here. They've come back up, grabbed liquidity, come back up to logical levels, grabbed liquidity, come back up, grabbed it, and then kept dropping it up here. They've left a lot of areas intact where they have not come back. They've just been leaving these perfect little pockets of inefficiency. They came back in here a couple of times. Here's a big one, a big level of inefficiency right above this level of market right up in here. And then here's another one here. And then there's a small one right in here as well too. So this leads me to believe that they're going to come back up and they're going to start scooping all of these up again and running back into those levels. And if they do decide to come all the way back up here, that's where I think then they will eventually pop it right up here and come in and take up, because there's a ton of stops resting above these here that I think that Bitcoin market makers are going to want to come up and grab before running it lower. And I'll just say it one more time here. I think we're going lower, and I think we're going to come under this level here, and this level here. I'm going to grab this. I think is going to get tagged, and that comes in at under 5,000. I think that this basically this small level right here and right here are going to get tagged out, and I think they're going to come for the stops and then bounce higher from there. So that's the level that I'm looking at on Bitcoin, and it did a nice little fake out here. You know, everyone who's lost their shirt here is hoping that this is the big rebound. They came up, stopped it artificially, dropped back down, took out a ton of stops. You know, for everyone who's getting long in here, thinking, oh, this is finally the next run up to 20,000, and then they ran it back up again, and faked everybody out and sunk it even lower. Now coming down here to, you know, like they're really manipulating this Bitcoin market. Unfortunately, this is definitely not based on supply and demand. This is heavily manipulated by market makers, and this is why this is a key manipulation that you're seeing. So I think before they come down here, the sub 6,000 level, I think they are going to definitely run it higher one more time. And I've got two levels marked out on the chart here in terms of upside that I think they're going to target to grab liquidity, and then from there I think they're then going to start to run it down. You don't need this level here. And this is the level they just breached, so that was taken, and that level there was achieved. So we'll just give that a little check mark there. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. I do believe we're going to see lower prices. Don't be dogpiling in on Bitcoin and thinking it's a discount level and let's get long right now, unless you can experience a fairly large threshold of pain and you know, and draw down on your account. I would expect this to come lower, so just so you're aware of that. Okay, Ethereum, same thing. They're dropping price, and I think this level down here is going to get tagged. Now this it's very similar to Bitcoin, but this level actually, I think more so right, this low rate in here I think is going to get tagged. That could come down. This is actually seeing a little more bearish activity than what Bitcoin is, but I think they could come down and scoop the lows first before they run it higher, or not. You know, this is again, this is really ugly trading in here. This isn't very exciting to trade if you're an Ethereum trader. I mean, it's been a little bit ugly for you, but they have been stair-stepping it down. You can see here, just running there in levels all the way down, stepping it down. So quite interesting. Like I say, Dave will be in here pretty soon to talk about the S&P market here in about the next probably 15 minutes or so. So Dave, just let me know when you get in here. Just send me a message and I'll jump off so you can get on. Dave's going to be talking about the S&P, the gold market, which is seeing some crazy manipulation. Look at that. There's the gold market for you guys. That's some nice manipulation there. They just ran it up to sink it back down 80 pips, and then now they're slowly starting to come back up. That's crazy. So you can see the US dollar, like this is just a whipsaw, right? They whipped it down, ran it up, and now they're running it back down. Prices all over the map. So if you guys are trading today, hopefully it's in a demo account, and hopefully you're not risking live funds on this garbage in here, because honestly, this is not conducive to trading. You know, look what they're doing here. They're like, this is the Euro USD. You know, they're running it above and they're running it below, and they're cleaning up stops on both sides, and now they're just sitting right in the middle of the range, right? So where are they going to go? Again, no idea, right? All you can do is just mark levels out on your chart and watch. So don't get me wrong, guys. As a new trader, I've traded non-farm payrolls before, and I'll tell you, the number of times I've been right versus the number of times I've been wrong, and it's cost me a lot of money, are a lot greater. I mean, my ratio is very heavily weighted to being wrong you know, in the past, and I've traded it. I've been in there trading live funds, and I've been whipsawed. And to be honest with you, you know, this isn't too bad. You know, 40 pips one way or another, that's not too bad. You can handle a drawdown on that. You know, this is the euro, or this is the pound dollar. This is, again, 40 pips. Don't be surprised for them to hit this level, and I'd like to see it then trade off and trade softer from there. Don't know if it's going to do it, of course, but that's just kind of the levels I'm looking at on the pound dollar. Somewhere up in here. If they get higher than here, then we're going to probably go for these highs up here. And actually, there's a level up here. There's a ton of stops that are sitting right up above the price, right up here, right in that area right there on the pound dollar. So that's quite interesting as well too. But I do think ultimately the pound dollar, see this level down here, I think that's where they want to go. We're just going to do a short-term rally here, and then I think they're going to want to drop it down. So if there's anything else that you guys want me to analyze here quick, here's crude oil real quick. Have a look at this. Not too much whipsaw on this. Price is coming up to a logical level, though. I would expect price to probably get softer after it tags up into here. Ish, and maybe even here. Crude oil is something like, you know, it's just kind of been in a bit of a range lately. You can see this range that it's been trading in. So not really liking crude oil the past few days. Got a nice little bearish action down here in the previous week, and but it's not really doing a whole ton. All right, we had a nice little rally down, bit of a pop, and just kind of trading in a trend, or sorry, trading in the zone right now. That yeah, not really exciting me too much, but I might be interested in seeing if price gets up here, you could potentially take a short that I'd be looking at, and ultimately I'd like to see price come down and tag off of this 59.70 level. Don't know what if we'll do it, and it might just scream higher from here. So again, not trading non-farm or anything like that. I'm not interested in doing anything like that. But you know, especially in a live account, don't ever trade non-farm. If you want to trade non-farm payroll, you can practice doing it, but do it in a demo account. There is absolutely no reason to risk it on improbable trading like this. All right. What am I on? Sorry, that was crude oil again. You know, to try to trade into something like this, you know, give me a break. It's not pretty trading. Sorry, I'm kind of bouncing around on the charts here a little bit. If you're watching this, getting a little motion sick. But you can see, right? They slammed her down just to run it back up, and I bet you they're probably going to fail somewhere in here and then run it back lower. So you know, that's that. What else we got here? Commodities. Really not much that I want to talk about in commodities today. Copper, cocoa, coffee. Not too much going on there. Cotton. This was on the daily. Sorry, this is on the daily. I actually got a trade that I unfortunately didn't get off to my group yesterday. There was a trade that I took. It didn't actually pan out very well. Got a little bit of profit on it, but give me 1 second. Let me just put this day divider on here. So this was into yesterday. Okay, I just got a note here that Dave's ready for the webinar here, so I'm going to switch it over to him. But just real quick, I took a trade yesterday. See how price was running up into here. When price slammed down into this candle here, I got long, and I was actually looking for this level right up here. I didn't get the signal off because I thought price was going to actually come down a little bit lower than this, and it just started running higher, and I got it before it started running, and it popped up nicely. But then it started to slide back a little bit, and I took my profit right about in here. I didn't want it to break this candle and go lower, and you can see it popped down, and then really ugly trading in here, to be honest with you. Didn't really like that very much. So I got out of that trade. It wasn't a great big trade or anything like that, but I was talking about it a couple of days ago, and I said if price wants to come down into here, you see this level that I've marked out into here, I'd be interested in getting long, and price came down, didn't quite hit that level there, and so that's why I didn't get the signal out. I wanted to see it hit that logical level, and then we had a nice pop ensue. So yeah, anyway, that was that little trade there earlier in the week. But anyway, that's my time, guys. Hope you enjoyed this non-farm. Dave's going to jump on right now to the link, and he is going to trade the rest of non-farm, and he's going to look at the S&P, gold, UJ, and a couple other pairs with you guys. So I will turn it over to Dave, and I hope you guys have a great Friday. Remember, don't trade today. If you do have to trade, make sure you're doing it in a demo account. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you're not risking any live funds on this crap that you're seeing here today, because it is garbage. It's just whipsawing. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great day, have a great Friday, and have a great weekend as well too. So I think with the live feed here, you guys can probably just stay on it, and then I'll close it down, and then Dave will jump on and it'll just reboot for you guys, so you don't have to go anywhere. And if that's not working, I'll just send out another link just in case, or you can just re-click the link that I had just sent you, and you can get back in. So, okay, thanks guys. Have a good weekend. We'll talk to you Monday. Next live session will be Tuesday morning. And then we'll also send out a whole bunch of weekly analysis videos as well too on Sunday, just to give you the look ahead into next week. So you can watch for that. Thanks guys.
Test, test. Test, test. Yeah, there we go. Turn that off. All right, everyone. Good morning. Steve, thanks for running the show this morning. Non-farm payroll. All right. So the dollar, you should usually look at dollar quick. Pretty much right where it started for the day. It took a little jump up for non-farm payroll, and then it's just kind of lingering here. Looks like it might want to come down, and we got these areas here. So we got, this area and this area that you would look for to fill. Those are the inefficiencies in the market. Came up and it tested, tried to get up there, and it reversed. So it might, starts breaking these lows. There's a good chance it's going to start trying to fill in here, but that might just be to move it higher. So I'm not sure what Steve talked about on that this morning. I wasn't on here, but those are two areas short term you can look for. Again, just not a demo account, because a day like today, non-farm payroll, we don't want to put real money on anything and trade. So you can just kind of see what the market does on days like this. Mark out these levels and just get used to how the market moves. Dollar yen earlier this week, it's kind of talking about it, how I want to fill up here and then maybe come up to this 108 level. Looks like it's starting to move up into that area. We're at a point of resistance right now, so dollar yen will be interesting to see what happens. But I think it's looking like it's going to want to push up into here. I don't know if it's going to do it today, but maybe early next week and up into these levels. So dollar yen right now, short term bullishness. You have this inefficiency down here. Price could come down into here, and you could look for an opportunity to get long. The way this is rolling right now, though, it looks like it might just keep pushing up. Again, I haven't been a big fan of the dollar yen here for a while, so I haven't been involved in it actively. But coming down, we're on a retrace, so it's just hard to go long right here because you're in an area that normally you would look for a short position. So you could play it either way. It's just whichever you go down in the lower time frames, you're gonna have to look for an entry, look for a signal that what it's gonna do. So, but on the long side, we can look for reasons it wants to get long, right? So we have these equal highs right here. We have this inefficiency here. You can see it right here on the dollar or on the daily chart. Got this low on the downside. It traded to that inefficiency right off it, and it popped up. Didn't come down into this order block yet as far as the body, but it hit the wick of it. So that's an area where you would think there'd be some sort of reaction. I think we talked about that on Wednesday. Like it hit right to the pip on this. So this was 105.2227, and the low on this was 105.345. So pretty close. And we got a nice reaction off it. This is stuff, if you're a scalper or day trader, this is stuff you can look for movement. But in this strong of a downtrend, I don't like trading. I'd rather be going short on this until we get a good market structure break, which we had a little one here. Look, we broke this high. So market structure is bullish right now. So we would want a retracement. If it came back down in here, that's an entry. That's something you could take and, shoot for these highs here. You're looking at 160 pips. So we'll see. Maybe this will just linger for the rest of the day. And then on Monday or Tuesday, we'll get it dropped down. And then maybe we'll get a move up. So that's a plan idea that we can look at for next week. We'll see how that plays out. I'm going to mark this so I remember this for next week if that's something we want to look for. And just targeting these highs right here. The way this is moving though, we have this order block, it's moved above it. Might be finding support, so it might just keep moving. So it might be something like this. It doesn't need to come down here right now. Maybe it wants to come up here and then come back down. But if this is our target, short term, we got to start playing out how's it gonna work. So you're gonna move up like this a little bit, and then next week we're gonna move down into this order block. So we might have something like this. This is what I would look for next week. We'd have a move up, we'd have a move down, and make a little low. Might move up, come back down into this order block, take out these lows, and then we'd see it move up. So that'd be one scenario I would look for next week. Or I would look for a consolidation and then come down, fill in, it doesn't need to be all of this, but at least part of this, come into this area. And then we'll look for a reaction, a retracement, and then maybe get into a trade. So that's why I'd be looking for dollar yen right now. Once if it comes up into this area, then I would be looking for shorts. But look at this, we're really in a consolidation, right? This is consolidation. We came down, we took out a low. We're kind of working our way back up. Took out this high, so short-term bullish, but really all the way up until here. We're in this range. We're right in the middle of it. So we want to be below it if we can to get that trade in. And we do have highs, but so that's what I'll look for next week. And it's just really a short-term trade because I don't have any long-term options on this right now. So yeah, I like that. So all right, dollar yen. We'll look for that one of these two patterns next week early, and we'll see if we can get in on it. Gold came right down to this wick today perfectly, and this is 4-hour chart. So daily chart, see. Yeah, we took out this low. We had a wick. We didn't get above this high. I was looking for this inefficiency here to be filled this week. Didn't make it. Now we're coming back down. So they might still be coming back down into, these levels down here, 1293 or, 1295, somewhere in there. If it comes down much more than this, if it closes below the low it just made today, we're going lower. But we have, so that inefficiency that I laid out on the dollar chart, it's right here. We got equal highs. So right now, this is my target on gold right now. Taking out this low, coming into an inefficiency. So, man. So this is normally, if this is a Tuesday, I'd be looking for a long on this. Non-farm payroll, just don't like trading this stuff. But what you want to look for right now, okay, on your demo account, if you want to look for something. So we came down, we got a rejection. We want to get above right here. And this could happen next week, which hopefully markets don't move much more today. Sometimes in the afternoon after non-farm payroll, you'll be walking away from the charts, after non-farm payroll, in the morning, early morning, and you come back and you look at the charts at night and it's like, it just went, 200-300 pips or whatever. You're like, oh, I should have stuck around, but that's just the way it is. You don't really know what's going to happen. What I'm hoping that happens here the rest of the day is it maybe consolidating here. I don't want it to close below this low. I want it to stay above this low and work its way up. It could do it today or early next week. I want it to work its way up above this line, and then we're going to use this line as support. It's just this top of this high right here, the bodies. And then we could look for some longs early next week. And like I said, we have that inefficiency in these two equal highs to target. And we had a low taken out here. It was swept. We had a rejection. We got a retest. So let's see what happens. It needs to find support here and start working its way up, and that'll be our target. So in this area for next week, if we get it, you got 200 pips or so to work with. And we may not get in right here. We may have to wait and make sure that is support. It reacts as support, and then we'll get in. If that happens on Monday or Tuesday, maybe it's a Wednesday trade we get, and we get it up in here somewhere. And you still got 100 so pips to work with. So let's just be patient on this. I'll keep this drawn out here because this is what I'm going to look for if it works out next week. Still early on Friday. Non-farm payroll just came out. Equities open is 8 minutes from now. So on gold, and you gotta remember we're in this consolidation, and we do have areas down here that price really should come down to, and it might do that before it comes back up here. But I'm looking more for it to come up into here and then down. But dollar, depending on what we are in dollar, see for it to go up. Whoops. So on gold, if we're looking for this trade to come up into here, we'd be looking for dollar to come down into here. Okay. So it all depends. We'll watch this dollar carefully. Right now, we're in the middle of this range. We got this inefficiency up here, which price is going to want to get to, and we got this one down here. See how we had a gap on this open here? So that needs to be filled. So which one are they going to fill first? I don't know. So that would depend on which way gold goes. If dollar's coming down, gold's going up. If dollar's going up, gold's going down. So just lay out our scenario for next week. I think one way or the other, we're going to get one of those trades. So we'll look for that. Dollar yen, if dollar's going up, right? So dollar yen, you got USD first. If dollar's going up, the yen should go up, and vice versa. But the dollar yen should go up, I should say, not the yen. The yen is a whole different, beast of itself, and you have to keep an eye on that also through the commodities market. So, or the futures market, I'm sorry. But I still like this trade. I like this to come down here and then move up. It'd actually be a stronger trade though if it comes up. If it doesn't come down here and gets up there, because then if it comes up here, then maybe we'll look for some shorts. But all right, S&P. It is still rolling up. We have an inefficiency right here that might be drawing price on the daily chart. We had this gap up down here, didn't quite fill it, so there's a little inefficiency there. That's on this feed. Might be different on other feeds. That's really small. I'm not too concerned about that. We had the gap down this week on the open, and it filled that and just kept going up. So we might be targeting these highs and this inefficiency here. So we're kind of in the area where it'll be interesting to see what happens. We're at almost right at the 79% retracement mark. Then we have these equal lows down here that I talked about on Wednesday. That's ultimately my target. I do think this is going to go lower, but it's still a strong market, so you got to be careful on this. I didn't have any really setups on this week. We filled this inefficiency, took out a low. So early in the week, that would have been our trade to go bullish. Problem is, we're trading a good part of that in this block right here, and I don't like trading in that area. I want to trade either above it like we are right now or below it. So I would like this. We had a swing high right here on what was Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. After Wednesday, we made a swing high here, and I was looking for an opportunity to go short yesterday, and it didn't pan out. We had price just continue to go up. So because we filled in that gap, the overnight gap, we filled it, and that's right where I was looking to take a trade. It just never panned out. On my account, I did take a little trade on that, and it just nothing worked on it. It just kept going up and up and up. So obviously, it's looking for something else up here, and I'm suspecting it's looking for this area. So until we have other reasons to expect, we gotta be looking for bullishness. Now, if you believe in Dow theory, the Dow theory, everything, the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq should be kind of all moving in the same direction, doing the same thing. We talk about comparing, the USD versus other currencies and things like that, and it's the same thing. So the Dow Jones is working its way up, just like the S&P is. We have this inefficiency here, it might be pushing up. We had that gap, it filled that. Came to find support at this 24,850 level, and we have bullish order block or bearish order block here. Price might want to come up into, and then the inefficiency really starts right there. So we have that area to fill in. Don't quite have the equal lows like we do on the S&P on the Dow. And we have, as far as on the upside, inefficiencies is really there. So those are areas we're looking at. Made the swing high and it's breaking it. So we have a swing high coming into an inefficiency. Early next week that might be a short trade. So it's tough. We'll see what happens. It's NASDAQ. So we have no inefficiencies here. So I would like to see this come up into this level. I don't know if this is going to happen, but this is one thing I would like to see. And then NASDAQ come up to here and finding resistance. I don't want it to come up into here. It doesn't need to, it can. But if it finds resistance here, that's the Dow. The Dow could go down. S&P work its way up here, and maybe a down trade. Now the NASDAQ is already starting to make, NASDAQ's the strongest of the three, right? So it's starting to break those highs already. It's doing it today. So this would be interesting to see if this ends up being a turtle soup. When the other two don't make the other highs and one breaks a high, that's SMT divergence as far as we were taught through ICT, right? So this is something that we'll keep an eye on next week, see what happens. We could make a high and it comes down below and starts breaking really below this low right here. Then we're looking at lower prices, and that would be a pretty strong trade, right, for lower prices down. That's a weekly chart. Let's go to a daily chart. So it's breaking this high, got this high here. Got inefficiency down here. So on NASDAQ, let's look for a pop up and trade back down, and then we'll just look for an opportunity to get short. And it would look something like this on the S&P, where it would break this high and we find resistance here, and it comes back down really below this low, and then we'd be looking for shorts. So those are kind of longer term things I'm looking at and kind of interested to see what happens in those levels. I think those are very important levels actually as far as longer term and really how the rest of our year is going to play out. If you want to be bullish the stock market and the indices, you want all these highs to really start breaking on the upside, and not just one of them, because this could come up, who knows how high, really get people excited, and it could fall pretty fast. So this is important here. We'll watch the NASDAQ, the Dow. The Dow could break this high too. If this is the main high I'm looking at, right? So we have this high, on S&P. We have this high. I mean, these are the highs of, let's see, of the year, right? In January, we started off, where is January? Right here is the 1st of January. We just started off straight up, right? And then it broke down really fast. And now it's kind of coming back up, coming back up. This is what concerns me as far as, if you have your 401k and all that, is if these highs don't break and support, it's looking like that's a sign that this could very well fall pretty fast. So just keep an eye out for that. It's your divergence trade is what that would be. I do that on the shorter term time frames too. I always look for this in my trades, but when you see it on this higher time frame like this, that's when you really want to pay attention and be careful what's going on, because this could fall, really fast, and you don't want to be against that. You don't want to hold anything on that. But as far as today's trading, I was watching it right on non-farm payroll. Actually, it came down here right before non-farm payroll. All three of them worked its way down, kind of juking everyone out, turtle soup, and then at non-farm payroll, just boom, they shot it up pretty fast. They didn't come down here. You got these. You might hear my dog. Dog's dreaming, I guess. Maybe a squirrel's. I don't know. Just laying under me here. So we got these equal lows that come down to. The lower time frame, there's no really inefficiencies, but the higher time frames are the ones I'm looking at. So yeah, see how boom, 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 bam, drives it up. So we might get another move up. I still think these are kind of equal highs. So that's about it, guys. I am not trading. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see what happens the rest of the day. I'm going to go take care of some things and come back and check the markets. I don't want this. I don't think it'll do it today anyway, but I don't want it screaming away from us. But when they do it, sometimes, if they're going to make a big move and a fast move, they do it when no one else is really around. They just do it out of the blue. Some of these moves, I can't remember where it was. It was in the afternoon, like late afternoon. It just kept driving down. And that can be frustrating as a trader when you're not in it, or if it's against you, for sure. But those are my scenarios I'm looking for going into next week. And I think we're going to have some better trading coming up. It's been a little choppy right now, a little hard to decide where price is going. We don't have any big runners that we like to get. So it's you get in a trade and it starts going the direction we want it to go, but then it comes back up. So we'll get some nice trades here in the next few weeks, I think, and hopefully the markets start turning around. I don't want any more consolidation, but we don't have control over it. So you could be looking at like a wedge formation here. Something like this could be happening. Might just maybe for another next week, it might just keep bouncing in here. So we'll see what happens. But when it winds up like this, you got a big move coming up. So that's something to look forward to. You just gotta be patient and be prepared for it. Actually, I kind of like that as far as um, retail patterns go. When you get these wedges like this, we might not see this type of thing next week. We might just see, little ranges come down in here, and then we'll get our breakout one way or the other. So something to keep an eye on. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. Stay out of the markets. Just keep an eye on those things. I'll do a market analysis on Sunday, and like to see where the market's open on Sunday night, and see if there's any gaps. I'm kind of expecting, just seeing where prices. I'm not expecting too much movement the rest of the day. I think they're going to keep it in this consolidation, and then next week, whether it's later in the week, it'll probably start moving. I haven't looked at the calendar. Let me look quick to see what next week holds for us for news. So let's see. Oh, remember there in Canada and the US there's daylight savings time Sunday, so keep on it. Remember that. Change your clocks. Yeah. So Tuesday next week we have a lot of news on Tuesday. We got early news on the British pound, and then early news again on US dollar. Then we have some CAD news. On Wednesday, we have early AM news for the London Open. Draghi speaks. US dollar in the morning, US Open. We got core retail sales, PPI, retail sales. And that's about it for big news next week until Friday. We have building permits for the dollar. So looks like Tuesday and Wednesday we got some news next week, so that might be some good movement there. Tuesday would be a nice time, and Wednesday. So we'll keep an eye on that. And that's all I got, guys. I hope you have a good weekend and stay out of the markets today. I think we got some things coming next week that we can get ourselves into. All right. So take care and have a good weekend. Thank you.